Chafing Armor Podcast, episode 63. Sounds familiar to me. Welcome back to the Chafing Armor Podcast. I'm your host and Chief Hut Nut, Michael Corley. Sorry, everyone. We're still laughing from Hut Nut.
Oh, my goodness.
Okay. Let's go again. From the top.
Oh.
No, let's just go.
No,
this is it.
This is all staying here.
Crap.
The laughter is the best part. And with us today is the person whose fault Hut Nuts is, Lee. Lee, tell everyone who you will be playing
It is not
today.
my fault.
It's your honor.
Exactly. I did not coin the phrase Hut Nuts. I am just apparently one of the Hut Nuts.
You're the hairy Hut Nut. I'm the bald Hut Nut.
And Chop is the pork Hut Nut.
It's the three nuts that every human has.
It is known. It is known.
It is known. Okay, everybody. Jesus. Calm down.
Oh, my goodness.
Okay, everybody. I'm Lee, and I am playing Osukai, the shifter Hut Nut from the Alteen Reaches.
Oh, my goodness.
Trust me, everyone, I edit this podcast, and when I see the parts where it looks like the waveforms just exploded, that's when I know everyone has cracked up laughing. And
Yeah.
I love those moments, and I always try to keep them in whenever I can. And also with us today, Hut Nut 1, 2, and 3 is James. James, tell everyone who you are playing.
Hi, everybody. This is James. I'm playing Penton Chalice, a spell sale sorcerer, and the controller of the Hut Nuts.
You are the Hut Nut driver. Arr, she's driving me Hut Nuts.
Arr.
Can we just name this episode Hut Nuts Part 2?
There you go. Yep. Hut Nuts Reduck. And also with us today is Dare. Dare, tell everyone who you will be Hut Nutting today.
Hello. He left her behind.
Well, I am not the stick shift. I am the bald Hut Nut. Hi, y'all. I'm Dare, and I'm playing Tix Bertmanson, and I'm going to leave it there before I go someplace that I really shouldn't. And let's move on.
I think every single one of us, until this episode is released, should just on a weekly basis just put the hashtag HutNuts in Twitter.
Yep.
Just every week,
so.
Each one of us, until this episode comes out, whenever it comes out next year.
I think so. I'm 100% for that. And also, winning the award of most traumatized child in the United States is Izzy. Izzy, tell everyone who you will be playing.
Hello, my name is Izzy, and today I will be playing Morezi Bugra, the nutless Hut Nut.
Technically correct. Oh man, this is just the best.
You know, and I keep thinking about adding my daughter to this broadcast, but
Nope.
I don't know where we'd go with
I am
that.
weeping real Jesus tears here, folks.
Either daughter is welcome at either time. When we last left our companions,
This should have
they
been
had
episode 69.
so should have. We should have made it happen. We should have done a bunch of mini episodes with flashbacks just so we could release Hut Nuts on 69.
I don't know what that means.
Nobody wants a Hut Nut release. They really don't.
My 15-year-old daughter does not know what that means.
Of course I don't.
Of course not.
I'm
I'm going to
5.
continue to believe that. When we last left our adventurers, they had headed out to adventure to a strange place that they know not yet of, that they were going to be gently guided by the Aarakocra, who had flown ahead, and they had proceeded in the chicken hut, which had a interesting sling under it. I'm sure you haven't heard anything about that.
No. Nope.
led to a group of brigands temporarily bringing down the chicken hut, and through brave work and teamwork from our adventurers, you had all managed to save the chicken hut from destruction from a giant purple worm hurtling out of the ground and slamming into everyone, averted by the strength and skill of everyone, and also the divine connection of Tix Birchmanson, who deflected it with his sanctuary. And as if after all that, after one nut-rattling adventure,
what are you trying? Are you trying to say that a giant purple worm just almost crushed our hut nuts? It's so terrible. It's tragic.
Yep. We can stop the world. We can get off now.
Okay.
And out of the hole came Zuana, who said that she had quite a tale to tell all of you.
I bet.
And first she says, "Is everyone okay?"
Barely.
Oh,
is this yours? Is this yours?
Definitely not. It is not. This is not my worm at all. I was simply taking advantage of its movements and making my way to the surface. It was driven from below by creatures.
What creatures?
Creatures?
Oh, just your basic, everyday, average lizard men. And I should add, not the lizard men who roam the Pinta Plains. No, not those lizard men, but the ones that are known as the Kinori, who are underground dwelling lizards of black and white variety, who are alchemists and mages, and who have a grand penchant for mummies. Isn't that great?
And
No.
do they look like this lizard? Morezi holds up Aki.
You hold up Aki with both hands, whose big jowls just hang over your hands as you hold it, and it goes blip as its eyes look in two different directions at once. And she
You
goes,
don't touch a Tegu's jowls. That's personal parts.
No, they just hang over because they're just so big and jowly. It's just so... He's a big old squish. Morezi keeps him very well fed. She looks at you and goes, "No, nothing like that. They are humanoids, and they either have white scales, which are sort of the drones, or black scales, which are either the more of the spellcastering type, or the even more so the alchemists." And she gestures to the giant purple worm, and you now notice that it has just dozens, perhaps even hundreds wounds in its side. And you know that it would take an incredible amount of damage to bring down a purple worm.
Yeah.
This thing... But none of these are like catastrophic wounds. These aren't like huge, like blasts of magic. These are just many, many, many stab wounds.
Death of 1,000 cuts.
Exactly. And she says that she had been trying to work with some of the resistant drow that y'all had encountered in your underground lair. If you remember that there was also the scaled drow. And that she had been trying to work with some of them and some of the other creatures below to gain more information about what's going on above and find out more about these baleful blue glows and squishy zombies and all of that sort of thing. That's when you hear a sound. The sound of a thunderclap. Boy, I'm definitely putting that in right here.
Wish it was still raining.
Yeah, it would have been. It was pouring rain out earlier. It would have been perfect if it had been a lightning strike right when I said that. But it's okay. I added it. You, of course, are out on the plains, and you can see for miles and miles around you. The plains do slowly slope here and there, so there are definitely blind spots. But you can see way far out, and you can see that there is a thunderstorm that might be coming your way. Just an FYI. What would y'all like to do?
Well, first I think we should wheel that contraption into the hut.
Okay.
The siege engine. If it's big, if it's not too big.
It is about 10 feet across. You do know that it is roughly, I've said before, about 30 feet by 30 feet inside the chicken hut.
Right.
So
that might be too big.
It would be extremely unwieldy, and you're not 100% sure it would fit. It might.
Could we disassemble it?
You certainly could. You absolutely could disassemble it.
They
we
generally
really need
they're generally made to come apart, so
No, you're absolutely right.
Do we really need a siege weapon?
better to have one than not need it.
Do you really want to sell a sage weapon?
Oh, that's a good point.
There we go. All right, Tix's.
You guys need money, right?
Money,
Texas
money, money,
moved by the money.
And this is definitely small compared to most siege weapons. A full-size catapult or things like that would be much, much larger. But it is still big. And actually, of all of you, Morezi, you actually are able to get and just... And you just take this thing apart because... it is not unlike assembling a trap, and there's a lot of similarity here, and you kind of see how everything should go, and in just very short order, you even find there is like a very simple kind of wrench tied to the side by a strap of leather, and it greatly speeds the process. It takes y'all, a good probably half hour to disassemble everything and get it in there. But yeah, you can do that.
Meanwhile, what is the storm doing?
It is slowly coming closer. And you can hear the lightning flashing from the distance.
Well, Osako will invite Zuana into the hut.
Okay.
Because currently, while everything's being taken apart and this storm approaches, my best guess is we're just standing around outside watching everything happening, and the hut is our best travel method at the moment.
Absolutely.
So maybe we can enter the hut once everything's done and back on our way, and Zuana can tell us more about exactly what's been going on down below to set off the lizard men to play with giant purple worms.
Tix is going to take a water skin while they're doing that, and an empty water skin, and go over to the purple worm and see if he can fill up with some purple worm blood to feed to the chicken.
Just give me a straight old roll, and I'll certainly let you use your wisdom as a modifier.
That is a modified 24.
Okay. It's really messy. It's really, really messy, but you are absolutely, especially because of the just sheer number of cuts, you are absolutely able to get some purple worm blood from here.
Seeing Tix do that, do we have any barrels inside the hut? This was a witch's hut. Surely she had barrels for storing food and herbs and all kinds of stuff. So there have to be barrels in here, right?
There were not. There was just such a strange collection. There are still some very pretty dresses in here. There is a chest full of 1,500 silver pieces. There is a one down rack of elven wine.
I thought we changed the silver pieces for gold pieces.
If y'all said you did that, I will accept that. And then you do have a mostly empty chest.
Do we still have the empty wine bottles?
No,
that would have been.
He carried that off.
Yeah, the other ones are well. Actually, I will say two things. One, you have the chest that had the silver in it. That you could use, and the other is you have the smaller chest that had the spiders that came out of it, but also had the coal and the shovel that Morezi has.
Well, first things first, we should see if the hut will accept purple worm blood.
Good point.
Okay, so I go to the hut and ask Penton to join me and convey our intentions to the hut.
Hey, buddy.
Connection he has.
Hey, buddy, we got something for you. Want to try it?
And I pour a couple of drops
Here comes the airplane.
on the skull.
Beat me to it.
There is, you do sense like a moment of hesitation, and then it slurps it up, and there is a sort of a empathic wave of pleasure that comes over you, Penton. That it does enjoy this. It doesn't seem to like it quite as much as it did the elk blood, but it does like it.
All right.
So we could probably.
I guess it liked it.
As long can we fill up the Wyvern bottle?
Well, no, you cannot, because the Wyvern bottle is
full of Wyvern.
You do not. It's actually filled with preserving fluid,
right?
And you actually don't know how it got in there because the wyvern shouldn't fit inside the bottle. It's literally like the old ship in a bottle kind of thing.
Someone assembled a wyvern inside a bottle.
There you go.
So we don't really have anything, because I'm thinking we take some of the as much worm blood as we can as a reserve stock, just in case we can't find any fresh meat.
Right, like any like jars or bottles, or
just stuff that we can fill with this blood, just so that if time comes where we're in a situation where I know what's going to happen, where the chicken hut wants blood and we don't have access to another deer buck or whatever, then at least we have this on hand where it's not going to like it very much, but
Well, it likes it. It's just not its favorite.
yeah, well, that's
So-
like it's the difference. It's the hut's rations compared to our
So
going into
I'll
an inn
finish
and eating.
dumping this water skin out on it and let it absorb that, and then I'll go back and fill it up and cork it and hang it up on the wall.
That might be an idea. I might do the same actually, because I think. Hang on, what have I got?
you guys need like water
Oh,
though, right?
I have the jar that was full of healing salve that I
Yeah,
used
it
a
is
while
now
ago.
empty because you used it all.
Yes, how big was that? It was pretty big, wasn't it?
It was large, but I mean, it was like
But I
maybe
needed it
2 or
all
3
because
times.
didn't it wasn't very powerful stuff, so I need to
Right, exactly. It was sort of low rent healing potions, not really useful in a battle per se.
So what would it be like in comparison to a?
I'd say it's about the same size as a water skin, maybe even a little larger.
All right, well I'll do the same. I'll fill that jar up since it's all I've got. I don't want to entirely get rid of my water skin full of blood or full of water. So I'll fill up the jar with the blood and cork it if I can. Also put that with Tix's water skin. So we have at least some kind of backup plan. Blood is required.
Well, and I will, Penton, you kind of get the feeling that one of the things that the hut likes most is fresh blood.
Yeah.
So I do want you to know that there probably is you're probably not going to be able to keep this for too long.
Yeah.
Before the hut doesn't want it.
Well, I'm hoping the salve pot will make it last for just a little bit longer. And I'll try to remember to keep doing this every time we go on a hunt or something to refill it with fresh blood.
I'll give the blood to it tomorrow morning as a breakfast so that it doesn't turn bad.
We're going to start spoiling this hut.
Perfect.
This is
So
all making me very
y'all do all
uncomfortable.
of that. You now have the hut inside is utter chaos, by the way. Because first of all, no one's ever said that they outright cleaned it. Pinson has used his magic to get rid of like spatters of blood and things like that, but it's just a mess in there. And there's a giant wyvern bottle. There's the skull roughly in the center. And there's little areas where y'all can sleep. And there's still just like tatters of things from the hag. It's a mess in there.
Well, Osakai is actually going to, for once, he's probably a little upset at the way we've been living for a while inside this hut. He's going to clean or start cleaning, making this place a little.
Yeah,
bit
that sounds
more
like a good idea. We can keep ourselves occupied while we're traveling.
Clean up.
Yeah.
So are y'all going to have the hut start moving again?
Yeah.
Yeah, once we've
Okay.
got everything loaded, yeah, absolutely.
Okay. And I should say, add to the inventory one disassembled giant bolo catapult thing.
At this point, should we
So-
have another character sheet just for the chicken hut?
I mean, you're not wrong. I do
Yeah,
know how many. I do know how
Essentially
many
become
hit
another
points it
party
has.
member.
Oh yeah. It's definitely been the linchpin in this party, which is hilarious.
Yeah,
Not what I
personal-
intended at all.
I'm sure.
In my own campaign, I just set up a Google Doc with the whole inventory. We should consider doing that.
Yeah, you might want to. Things get really complicated as you go forward.
Because
I nominate Izzy.
Yeah, I have an entire sheet filled with our stuff.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah, like that.
So I'll see about making a Google Doc to drop in.
Nice.
Okay. As y'all go forward, Penton, you do not actually have of course, a telepathic communication to Aphil,
Right.
but you have a sort of empathic, emotional connection to her.
No,
And-
actually, we have an empathic link. Yeah.
Yes, yes. You feel something from her suddenly. You sense that she starts flying to the west, and the west is towards the thunderstorm. Morezi, Aki, suddenly stiffens, looks up, head bobs a couple of times, and then starts running for the door.
Lizard! Creature! What are you doing?
He is running for the door.
I'm going to go after her.
Okay, make a dexterity roll.
That is a 21.
Okay, it's just Aki's just about to the door, and boom, you're able to put your hand and draw him back, and as you lift him up, the legs are still, running.
Oh, yes.
As it's trying to move forward, and of course, Aki is very, very strong, but you are Morezi, and unsurprisingly, Osokai, Chop, also who didn't obviously want to be in the hut, but is in the hut right now, goes and tries to run out the front door.
Well, it's not unlike Chop to disappear.
No, it's not at all.
He frequently does it. He's his own boar after all. I'm gonna let him go.
Okay. He heads out the front door. You hear a slight boom as he hits the ground running and just starts heading out west. And
I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try kind of like empathically calling Afiel back to me.
Okay. Go ahead and make an Arcana check.
All right. I'm gonna switch back to my character. Hold on a second. There we go. That'll be a 16.
16. It does not work. You sense something from her, but as it's frustrating because you don't have a true telepathic link, and there is like a desire in her, and she continues to move westward, and you can feel her, and you can feel when she's moving away from you, and she is. And that's when all of you hear screaming.
It's fun.
Yeah, and it is distant, but growing rapidly closer, and it is, of course, outside the hut.
Sorry, did I leave my basement door open again?
Yeah,
some
that
pants on.
does happen. Yeah, stop swinging those hut nuts.
I'm gonna
Never
pop
swing.
my head outside and see what's going on. If I can see anything.
Okay, you take a peek outside, and you can see the thunderstorm in the distance. Ahead of the storm, you can see 4 figures running towards you at a distance. You recognize them because they are so garishly garbed.
Uh-huh.
It is the 4 brigands, and they are running towards you screaming. And
Scared screaming or mad screaming?
Like weapons brandished.
more like your very essence of your soul has been ripped out of you screaming.
That's fun.
Yeah.
Oh.
So imagine if you were torn in half and then sloppily sewn back together.
Festive.
And then you were then given sufficient throat that would give you the ability to scream. That is the sound that they are now making. It is this tortured
That's
as they
disturbing.
run towards
I don't like
you.
that much.
Also,
I mean-
they don't look right. They're kind of at a distance, but there's definitely something wrong with them.
Torn in
No
half
kidding.
and hostily sewn back together. That sounds familiar.
Yes, well, that is. By the way, I should clarify that is not actually what has happened to them, or at least you don't think so.
Were sharks involved? Zombie sharks?
Yes, there's nothing
That's-
but 20 halves of Osokai coming at y'all. They're just sort of hopping on their
That'd be
little bellies.
terrifying.
That's gonna be in your dreams tonight.
That's right. That's right. What would y'all like to do? You are not yet in combat.
Okay. And is my bird flying like past them in that direction? Like they're running away from what they're heading toward?
Your bird has already flown past them.
Okay.
They have taken no notice.
Well, right. Well, I'm not too worried about them messing with us because, we have a fully moving bird hut and I can't imagine what they're going to be able to do to it.
By the way, as far as you can tell, they do seem to be running at you. It is difficult to tell whether or not they are "quote unquote" attacking you, but they are running at you.
Right. This would have been a
Tix
good time to
tells
have those
Peyton
mounted
to-
machine guns.
Prepare the hut for a little chicken dance on their heads.
Follow
Yeah, that's
that
what I was
bird.
thinking.
I mean, we encountered these guys before, and they thought we summoned a giant purple worm, and they took off in terror. If they're coming at us again like this, my thought is there's only two things. One, it's not really them anymore, and Michael did say that they didn't. They don't
Something wrong
look
with them.
Quite
Something
right.
wrong. Yeah.
Or two, They're not after us at all. Something is chasing them because there's no way they'd be coming at us if they think we can summon a giant purple worm.
Right.
Correct.
So overall, I don't think we have anything quite to lose to confront. They might just run past us in terror.
I agree.
Plus, we should
Yeah.
probably go and find our
Marezi
familiars
especially
anyway.
agrees.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what was my main concern.
So if we're heading that direction anyway, then there's not really any real point
To the west.
to avoiding them.
All right. We shift to the west.
Okay. By the way, that's the direction they're coming at you from. So
Right.
they're heading east. Okay, just checking. You shift to the west, and they are coming straight forward. The one of the ones who had flanked you, it doesn't really matter now, but their name was Newolin Boldeye. At least that's what they said everyone, That's not their real name, but that's what they decided they were going to be called when they went on this great adventure.
Does he
Sure.
ask everyone to pronounce him Norland?
Yes, he totally does. He says, I'm from Nolan. He actually stumbles and falls and picks himself up again. And you see why he falls is because roughly half of his body is now a worm.
What?
I don't like that much.
Not a purple worm, by the way, but just a
worm boy.
big pink worm. And as you can imagine, humans and worms, if you mush them together, don't really work very well. And so he is having a little ambulatory issues as he does that.
They made a couple of movies about that. Oh no, there's a sentence.
They have indeed, and they definitely don't go together. The other one who had flanked, it doesn't matter anymore, but he was wanting everyone to call him Jagged Hunter. Ooh, so
I
scary.
hate him.
Jagged Hunter. He crouches down and leaps forward impossibly high, and as he's leaping toward the hut, you see that most of his lower torso is now a giant frog.
That's fun.
And part of his face, his eyes are huge and bulbous, and there's a massive frog croak, and he slams into the side of the hut. And the other ones are coming forward as well, and I need everyone to roll for initiative.
All right. So we're fighting rejected centaurs. All right.
I'm gonna make my next character a worm tar.
That's what you need to do. So Marezi,
That is a natural one.
a natural one for Marezi. Okay.
16
you have
for
to add your
ticks.
initiative modifier.
16 for Tix.
Correct.
And Pinton.
3.
Pinton got a 3. We are a little taken aback by all of
Yes,
this.
definitely.
And Marezi?
Again.
I'm sorry, not Marezi. Osokai?
19.
19. And Osokai, you are able to act first. Perhaps you've seen some strange things in your day and out in the wild, and you're not quite as shaken by this. What would you like to do?
I was like, where's a fish or a giant bird where you need one? We have worm people here.
Yes, exactly.
I wish I'd bought salt.
Yeah. For the worm.
Or tequila. Don't think this is the right kind of worm. Okay. Well, these seem like coming abomination.
That's fair.
I'm going to light a torch and try and hit one with the torch.
Okay. It does take a little bit of time to light a torch.
I think it's a full
I would
half round action.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Don't we have a magic torch?
We do have a magic torch. Marezi has one
Oh yeah.
that sometimes works.
Putting it out's a little tough, but
Do you want to try and grab Marezi's?
I don't mind.
I'll ask for if she's got it close at hand. Otherwise, I will.
I feel like that's not the kind of thing she'd keep on her person, but I think it's lying around within reach within the hut.
It's in one of those. It's on top of the dresses.
Yeah.
I mean, it would
That
come in
seems
handy.
safe to her.
It would come in handy on Night Watch.
Yeah, it sure would. So it'd be relatively handy. So I'll say that you can grab that. There is the dwarven rune of fire is on the side, and that's literally how you activate it.
Well, I guess I'll give it a shot and see if it decides it wants to like me today.
And would you also roll a percentage die for me?
Okay. Oh, goody. These things really went out my shot. Really come out in my
Yes.
favor, don't they? Do I need to roll high or low?
You do not want to roll 100.
Okay. Normally 100% is a good thing, but okay. I hate you, Michael. Why did you have to tell me?
Oh no.
100.
Did you really rolled 100?
Yes.
Wow. Okay. Give me
All right,
a
you
reflex
lose the chicken
saving throw.
A reflex, you say? Well, I mean, it's my
Reflex
best
saving
one,
throw.
so even if I get a critical... if I get a critical fail, I still fail badly. I quit.
No.
I quit. That's a 1.
A 1?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
My reflex is a 7, so there's technically an 8, but it's a critical
So
fail reflex.
You actually got really lucky on this because it did 3d12 damage. And one of them, I rolled a 12, but as I rolled it, it rolled off the counter. So that was not... It would have been a 12, but then it just like went over the top. And I actually rolled a 3, a 3, and a 2. So while that's not nothing, 8 points of damage isn't nothing, technically, because you have to understand, this magical item that was slightly fritzing, it exploded in your hands. And it would only do that on 100, by the way. It would only do that on 100, but it did. And so everyone here is, y'all are all gearing up for battle and everything, and then you just hear this deafening, and the hut shudders because the hut is, singed by this ball of flame just, out the front door. And I'm actually going to... Oh, he rolls a 1. So the frogman actually falls off the hut. So bonus for that. He actually gets flamed in the face out of the front door.
Perfectly.
Exactly what you wanted.
According to plan.
And he will take... oh no, that's not.
I mean, we're going at a fair clip, so he's going to hit the ground pretty hard.
Yeah, and Blank gets stepped on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go with that. But he rolls a 16, so he's able to dodge out of the way of the foot. So he actually only takes 3 points of damage. He could have taken a lot more, but he does fall off the hut and boom, 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 down to the ground. Well, that was an interesting turn, and
Yeah.
you are also blasted in the face.
So glad I brought that up.
Osokai. Wow. So Tix, after you just watched a bear get cooked in front of you, and a frogman fall off, there's still 3 other rapidly closing people coming towards the hut. What would you like to do?
Singed hut nuts.
Wow.
Toasted hut nuts.
Oh, my
Lightly
toasted
toasted.
nuts.
Lightly toasted. Nothing like roasted
That's-
nuts.
Oh, I love going to the fair and getting lightly toasted hut nuts.
Hut nuts roasting because of Osokai.
That scams way too well.
Yeah, that does.
Write the rest of it, please.
So,
No, I'll work on it.
I will glance over and see if Osokai still has both his eyes intact. And
He does.
How about his eyebrows?
Oh, they're singed.
and I will go over and look out the front window, whatever window is facing front, and I will hold my action till the other 3 figures come closer.
Can I just
Okay.
say that with the explosion in my face, Osokai has no hair left on his face. His beard is gone, his mustache is gone, everything is gone. He's essentially clean shaven. So, can we make it so that people don't recognize him at first? Because he looks vastly different.
This nut.
I'll go with that. He also looks like he's 14 years old.
Yes, indeed. Actually, he does. Just like me.
Baby faced.
Suddenly, y'all watch him de-age in front of you. So you're holding your action ticks until they're in combat range. And Penton, that will bring it to you.
Well, all right. I feel like right now I'm kind of steering the ship.
Literally.
Yeah. How far out are the others? Because I know the frogman jumped pretty far.
They are rapidly closing. You don't know if they're going to make it this turn. The worm guy definitely won't, but the other 2 might.
Okay. I guess I'll kind of aim the chicken hut for the one that's like most in line with where we're going, and just kind of just trying to maybe just run him over.
That would be the one who tried to sneak attack you. Who
perfect.
Was thinking that he was going to become a monk or a rogue someday, and he wanted everyone to know him as Boulder Fist.
Jeez.
Oh.
And he is got matted black fur just sprouting out all over him, and he has a narrow, pinched face, and and a weird-looking, like, jagged tail sticking out his back.
Oh, Rat Boy. Who could forget dear Rat Boy?
And so you're going to try to have the hut squish him?
Yeah.
Okay. Roll, or that would be an Arcana check to
Okay.
have him attack.
And have it roll. And we got 9. That's a 14.
14 will actually hit.
Oh.
In this case, and it does 2d10 damage.
Oh, all right then. I'm on it. That's 12 points.
12 points of damage. So he just kind of boom, gives him a light punt, and he goes flying backwards and kind of screeches.
Just kick him down the plains.
And as you do, something happens. There is actually a reflex that happens when you kick him, and that is like a sound. And suddenly, the most foul odor just fills the air around y'all.
It's not a rat. He's a skunk.
Indeed.
Oh,
And
no.
I need everyone to make a fortitude saving throw.
That's bad.
You know, I never really understood why they didn't have a skunk as a villain in any of the kids' cartoons.
There was one in He-Man, though I don't know if you ever made it under the cartoon.
Because I know,
Yeah, the toy.
I got a
The
21.
toy actually stunk.
Yeah, they actually mixed stinky stuff, pellets, and it actually made the factory they made it in stink.
wasn't that kind of stuff technically now come out as like banned because it caused serious health problems? I know a lot of
Probably.
80s
I don't know if
toys-
that one particular, but I'm sure there were other ones. Yeah,
Hmm.
it's amazing we any of us survived. I'm sorry. What did y'all roll?
21.
18 for Penton.
15 for ticks.
Okay,
22 for Oscar.
15 is what you needed, and you all are able to fight it off. You want to vomit. Your eyes water. It is horrible, but you all resist it. And that will actually bring it to Morezi. No, I'm sorry. It will absolutely not bring it to Morezi. It will bring it to all of these other dudes, except for the skunk man who's been kicked backwards and has lost his turn. The frog man is going to leap up, and and that will actually make it your turn, Tix, because he's now in combat range.
Then I will take a swing at him with my axe, Destiny Seeker, and
Okay.
deliver justice as it wanted. That is a 21.
21.
So that
Okay, sorry. No, that absolutely will hit. And that is not you didn't roll a natural 20, did you?
no.
Okay. This Destiny Seeker, just like your other axe, crits on a 19 or 20.
Correct.
Did you roll a... Okay, so it
No.
does crit.
It
It
doesn't.
does not crit. Okay.
It does not
okay,
crit.
sorry.
So it does 1d6
Oh,
damage.
Actually, it does 1d8 damage plus 2 necrotic.
Oh, okay. So let's change that on the sheet. 8.
Oh, and I apologize. It is if they are less than 50% of their health, it crits on a 19 or 20.
Okay.
Um,
And so that is 5 points of damage.
okay. And that's with the plus 2?
Yeah, that's with the +2.
Okay, so he has now taken 8 points of damage, and you cut into his shoulder, and you can see, you recognize that type of damage from your touch, that it kind of creeps in there and rots a little bit.
Good.
And that will bring it to the one who wanted people to know him as Iazvin Orkhoof, as he wanted to slay all the orcs. That was the one who was leading with a pike. He flaps his wings, as he now has bat wings, and lifts himself up into the air and tries to bite you, Tix. And he rolls a natural 20. So that is 8, the bitey bite. So he actually does 4 points of damage to you total. So that's 7 points that you've taken total. And that will bring it to a worm boy couldn't make it because he was falling and bumping around. And so now, Morezi, it is your turn.
All right. Did you say that Orkhoof is one of the closer ones?
Well, technically the two closest ones, yes, Orkhoof is the bat, and he and the frog are the closest.
I think I'll attack the frog man.
He has been already damaged, so that would make sense.
Yeah. with my halberd, I shall attack, and I roll a 11.
11
Wait,
will not.
no, that's not.
Oh.
No, 14.
14 will hit.
Nice. Sorry, it's been a while since I've done these dicing things. 12 points of hurting damage.
12 points of hurting damage. That's 20 points of damage that you have done. Describe to me how you dispatch this frog boy.
I take my halberd, I rear it above my head and give him a good whacking in the middle of his torso, and then I use my halberd to skillfully cut off his legs so that I may have a tasty southern food delicacy later on.
You cut right through the leg, and he screams and falls to the ground, his arteries gushing black blood, and he quickly dies. And that will bring it back up to Osokai, who has just had a rather interesting experience.
A toasty shave.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, God. Edit this out, but I have to say it. An unexpected manscaping incident. Okay, so
it's one of Tolkien's lesser known works.
Yes. There and back again. Not so much. So we have one dead. We have one injured, slightly injured. He has a cut on his forehead, probably. And we still got, so there's still 3 up. I'm gonna try again. This torch is gonna work.
Oh no!
Oh no! There's no torch left.
It blew up.
Oh,
it exploded.
Oh, okay. Oops, my bad.
That torch is no more.
Wow. Okay. I thought it would just backfire and woof in my face.
No, you rolled 100. It boom.
All right then.
I mean, it went off. It went off like a grenade. You are very lucky to have not taken massive damage.
Okay. Thanks for dropping the dice. All right. All right. What have I got? So do I know what's going on with these things? Like they're half worm boys, and then one's growing bat wings, and another one's a skunk, and what's going on here? Do I know what's going on here?
You've never seen anything like this. You definitely know that.
Oh my God, he's
Yeah, I hear him.
I can hear the tortured cries of these mutated people from behind you.
Those guys going to howl and jump at the nearest one. Try to take it down. The flying one. I'm going to try to take it if the flying one.
The bat is definitely the closest.
So it's still up.
Yeah.
I'm guessing I'm going to try and take it down.
Okay.
I will jump. Oh, I love that jump stat. I can't fail this.
Except for this time.
That's a 26 on the jump check.
Okay. Well, that definitely succeeds.
So this is going to be a grapple.
Okay.
That's a 20 on the grapple, so it's a 28.
All right. Well, you leap out and wrap around him, which, of course, negates his flying, and so you're both plummeting to the ground. I assume with you angling so that he's landing first.
I'm going to attempt to, at least, yes.
Well, with those rolls, I would go for that. You will take 1d6 damage, but halved. Because you're on top, basically.
Okay.
And he will take, he would actually take 2d6 damage from both the fall and from your attack.
Gesundheit. Okay, so...
Plus damage.
I'll roll the d6. Alright, so 2d6 you said?
Mm-hmm.
Plus...
your strength bonus.
Okay, so that's 12 plus 4, so 16.
16? Okay, you slam him into the ground. You hear one of his wings crack as he falls, and he screams. And by the way, when he screams, it is unpleasantly loud. It is more of a shriek. And that will... you're now on the ground, by the way, and that will actually bring it to Tix.
Okay, so I don't think we should feed the corpse of the frog boy to the chicken hut because black blood doesn't sound very appetizing to something that likes fresh elk blood. So,
yeah, we don't want to give him mutated creatures, I don't think.
Which one is right outside the door? Are any of them outside?
Well, the closest one is technically the bat because he just slammed down from the front. The two that are coming up rapidly from behind are the worm, who was just coming up slowly, and then the skunk, who had been kicked backwards.
Okay. Well, I will cast Command on the bat and tell him to freeze.
Okay. Now, he is currently grappled by Osokai.
Well, that'll
So
make it easier for Osokai
It
to
will make him freeze more. It's true. And
dispose
what
of.
is his saving throw? I'm guessing it's by will.
Yeah.
Okay. And what does he need to roll?
He needs to roll above an 18.
I do not think a 9 plus his bonus will do it.
No.
So, Osokai, you feel him just stiffen in your arms as he cannot move for the moment. And that will bring it to Morezi. No, I'm sorry, Pinton.
All right. Well, I'm just going to keep the hut trucking and maybe not punt the skunk this time and maybe angle him toward the worm.
Okay.
I don't know how far off he is yet. I know he was moving slower.
Oh, he's
so
definitely in range. He was just coming a little bit
okay.
away from him.
And a squishy crunch. Let's see what we do here. That's right. It's knowledge. So 18 on my knowledge check, my Arcana check.
Okay, that is definitely it.
All right.
2d10 damage.
Whoa. 11 points.
11 points of kicking damage. And
That kicking
that
chicken
is
hut.
fortunate. That is fortunate. As you kick him, his mouth just sprays out this bile that the chicken hut, without even you commanding it, just kind of moves out of the way of, because it makes its saving throw.
Oh, good.
It hits the ground, and you just hear a as it hits the ground. And that will actually bring it to them. The bat is going to try to break free. It cannot. It is still frozen, so it cannot even try to break the grapple. It's double caught. The worm is going to he actually extends his head upwards but it is not meant to do that. So you hear like vertebrae cracking as it just and it opens its mouth impossibly wide and at you, Penton.
Oh.
And it gets a 18. Will that hit?
Unfortunately, yes.
Yes, that is unfortunate. So that does 6 points of acid damage to you.
Okay.
As it burns and hisses into you. By the way, you feel the hut shudder with you when you take damage. It does not like you taking damage.
No, me neither.
You can tell. Yeah, you're not a fan of it either.
It should probably do more to stop that then, huh?
Huh.
Come on,
and it
play
is
ball.
now the skunk's turn. He is coming up and he is trying to spray you in the face, Osokai. And he turns around and he actually, no joke, plants his hands on the ground, lifts his backside up, and doing a handstand, sprays you from over the end. I can't make that up. And if you don't believe me, Google a skunk spraying. But he rolls a 6. I'm sorry, that's not how that works. You need to make a saving throw
Which one?
versus fortitude.
Okay. That's a 14.
14. You needed a 15.
Of course I did.
And so what I will definitely say is that you lose your grapple because you cannot help yourself from just trying to cover your mouth and wipe clean your eyes. You now have a -2 to all attacks and a -2 to your armor, essentially, because you're partially blinded.
If I still had my facial hair, I would have been fine.
That's right. It would have blocked it for you. There aren't even any like eyelashes to help you with this.
Nope,
as
it's
he
just a
sprays you
completely
in the
bald face.
There's nothing. Morezi, it is your turn.
All right. I would like to go at Skunk Boy because he's nasty.
He is a nasty boy.
Yes.
That's my reasoning. My halberd.
Sound reasoning.
Roll a 11, and I roll a 11.
Total?
Yes.
Unfortunately, that will not do it. I think you were just overwhelmed by the smell as you tried to leap out and stab him, and it just doesn't go so great. Drop my 20-sided die, so we can't take any more damage. Just kidding. I've got a backup DM dice. So that will actually bring it back up to Osokai, who is retching and not actually vomiting, but just kind of and trying to furiously wipe your eyes. What would you like to do?
Well, it seems like Skunk Boy is the bigger threat at this point, because Bat Boy can just fly, so he's going to be irritated too bad. Plus he's frozen. But Skunk Boy has the ability to render us all entirely unable to act if he gets a good hit. So, yeah, I'm going to attack Skunk Boy. I'm going to try and sew his rectum shut with my claws.
Ew.
Don't draw that.
No.
I wasn't planning on it, but no.
Where's the
draw
Charmin?
that.
Where's the Charmin?
Do draw that, and it's smelly hot nuts.
Oh.
I feel bad. I'm sorry.
That's the worst hot nuts.
All right. Is it tomato juice in this world?
There most certainly is.
All right,
Vinegar.
so I take a -2 to attacks. Does that still count for criticals? I mean, I'm not saying I'm going to get a critical, but
If you roll a natural 20, it still is a natural 20.
okay. I didn't know, but it's not likely to happen. All right, so that's a 16.
That will hit.
That's taking into account the 2 because I roll. Yeah, okay. All right. So here we go. What do we got? Oh yeah, okay. That's 4 damage.
Okay.
Right in the butt.
Just slam him in right in the butt. Oh my goodness. We've suddenly become a very different podcast. That is, he's now taken 16 points of damage and is had a critical butt failure. And
The big bear man
Ticks.
slams the skunk man in the butt. Okay, sure.
yeah.
Oh no!
Isn't that a Chuck Tingle book?
No, don't put that into Google. There's no safe search that can protect you. for what's
That's
gonna
what
come
you
up.
don't want to draw.
That's right.
Oh.
Okay.
So, again, worst father ever. Please go on to Tix.
Okay, I guess I'm going to cast Command one more time on the Skunk Boy and tell him to freeze also.
Okay.
And so that's a will saving throw, and you need an 18. An 18.
He does not. He freezes in place. And he actually falls over because he was in motion when he did so. And that will bring it to Penton.
All right. Hey, there's a frozen skunk man on the ground. Stompy stomp.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, that's... Now clear the Arcana check. It's a 23. And that'll be 9 points of damage.
Okay. Describe to me what it looks like when you crush the life out of this skunk man.
Crush the
You
head,
know,
not
you
the
know how
butt.
like when you step on certain kinds of mushrooms and they go kind of poof as you step on them because of the spores. I think that's what it's like. You step on them and then he just kind of goes a very stinky poof out from underneath the foot.
If I was a cruel dungeon master, I would also say that y'all needed to roll for save versus that, but I won't. It's just kind of this gross little... And he is very, very dead.
He's already blown
And-
his wad.
Bum.
God.
And that will bring it to Bat and Worm. The Bat is going to try to move, and he cannot. And the Worm is going to attack you, Tix. That big, creepy, sticky, weird head is going to twist around some more and at you.
Such a great sound.
But he gets a 8. So
I
Not
don't
so
think
much.
that's going to touch.
nope, can't touch this. Again, I'm not going to use that sound because I don't want to get banned. And that will bring it to you, Marezi.
I would greatly enjoy it if I could attack the worm, because he's an abomination of God.
And it sounds like a good idea to me.
Or I guess an abomination of Grumsh.
There you go.
We're going on Morezi's character. That's a nat 20. Get my nat 20
Natural.
on the worm.
All right. Roll your damage and double that, boy.
21 points of worm damage.
Yeah.
So that is actually 3 more points than you needed to kill him. So please describe to me how you dispatch this horrifying extended neck worm creature.
I cut him in half at the long neck, and there's a horrible, awkward pause where I'm waiting to see if he turns into 2 worm boys.
Nice.
You just apart, and the acid bubbles and hisses, and you think maybe he's going to grow into 2, but nope, he just dead.
Is he white?
And that will actually bring it back to Osokai. There is the Batman, the Man-Bat, the the Batmans, who is frozen in place below you.
So we've dealt with
All
Smelly
of
Backside
them.
Boy?
Except for the Bat.
Okay. Osokai wants to be cruel, so he's going to. Let's tear his wings off.
Okay, roll to attack.
Oh, that's a 20.
All right.
I'm so happy that
Roll
happened
that.
on my cruel roll.
That is technically a 1d6 damage, but double that, and I'm sorry, add your damage and double everything.
Okay. That's 20 damage.
Wow. So 20 damage is actually 16 more points of damage based on what he's already taken. So just describe to me what's going on here.
Osokai is upset. He has no facial hair of any kind whatsoever on his face anymore. No eyebrows, no eyelashes, no mustache, no beard, no nothing. He is completely bald in the face. He reeks of man skunk funk. He's feeling a little jostled from being slung underneath a walking chicken hut. His boar friend has disappeared and taken off. And overall, he's not feeling very good. He's actually feeling rather upset. So he channels all of that upset into grabbing the wings of this frozen man-bat and just unleashing all of his rage into them and just tearing them off.
Do it.
All right. Well, you've all heard the sound of tearing meat off the bone. Perhaps anyone who's ever taken part in a Thanksgiving dinner, there's that indescribable and he screams, and it actually does hurt your ears, but it's too unfocused to actually damage you. Like perhaps maybe he might have had a scream attack if he had gotten the chance. And they just both wings come off in your hands, and you're holding them for a moment on each side, and he collapses to the ground, dead.
I'm gonna keep him.
And that, okay, they are not partially human. They are fully huge bat wings. They are going to, of course, begin to become gross bat wings soon. But the combat is ended. Is there anything anyone would like to do?
I want to throw the Frog Boy's body out the door of the chicken hut.
Okay.
And
Can we search them first? I want to see if they've got any of those tokens on them or any jewelry.
Good point.
Okay. Very good. Give me a quick search check.
Okay. That's a 20. Modified 20 on the search.
That you are able to fully search them. You find no evidence of the tokens that you had found before. You do find a handful of silver and gold and a lot of copper. These guys were early in their career, and they just, oh gosh, Izzy just shared a picture.
Yeah.
I shared that a little bit ago.
Yeah, but I just saw it, and I don't care for it at all.
I think it's Osakai's face that sells it for me.
Pure determination.
his angry bald face as he's butt touching the stinky skunk man.
Who's got
Oh my God.
who's got blushed cheeks, which I've just noticed. He's actually like, ooh,
Yeah,
ooh.
I thought those were his eyes at first.
I'm not
but
sure
now
how I
realize
feel about this.
I don't know why he has little shaggy soul patch.
Zoinks!
Zoinks, man! There's like a
Zoinks!
big old
I'm
there's a big
exploring
old bear.
new parts
and
of
he's
my
like
identity.
touching me in the
Zoinks!
butt. Yeah, right.
Scoob, is that you?
little to the
Oh,
left,
I have
please.
the
Little to
weirdest
the
boner
left.
right now.
No cupping.
Oh, This is the best of all podcasts. We have reached peak podcast. Everyone else can just turn off now.
100%
He's ready to
maturity.
expose his hot nuts.
Well, we jumped the shark quite a bit ago.
Literally.
You guys jumped the shark. I got caught by the shark.
And now you're feeling up a skunk.
It's funny how life goes, isn't it?
Gotta make a living.
So anyway, that is when you all hear the thunderbolt. Boom! And
Sorry. Can't help it.
you feel the first drops of rain strike you.
It better just be
something
normal rain,
begins-
please.
Oh, it's not. It's not normal rain at all. The more than anyone, Penton, you feel magic, just strong. But what is more, Penton? Old and powerful magic. Maybe not God magic, but maybe not God magic. Which ticks also. This resonates with you as this rain strikes you. And by the way, Penton, you may have technically been inside the hut when the rain started to fall because you were controlling the hut. As the rain hits the hut actually begins to change.
Oh,
my
no.
God.
Around you, the hut shifts and warps. And I'll get to that in a moment. But the important thing is that even if you were inside the hut, suddenly you're not. And you all are struck by this rain, and you all begin to change and shift and reform. There is some pain, but it is not actually as painful as you might think. As the change is happening, you hear a laughter. You hear a rich, unpleasant laughter coming from Zuana. And she looks at all of you and she says, "Please enjoy your transformation. You will all become your true selves. But most importantly, the reason I love to say it at this moment is you will lose your intelligence. You will become nothing but stupid, base animals, ready for the picking." And you all transform into animals. And anyone who was looking out over the plains would see Morezi, where you were standing. What do they see?
They see... do I turn into, like, a whole entire animal?
Yes.
Yeah, there's... One moment, there is a big, beefy half-orc with light green skin, and the next they see the big, beefy boar with furry skin.
Yes.
And that's just that.
A dire boar.
Yeah.
And Penton, tell everyone what you change into.
Penton kind of falls to the ground and kind of looking off toward where Afiel is, transforms into it's called a kingfisher. It's a very pretty but deadly fragile bird.
Very, very appropriate. And perhaps most interesting, Tix, tell everyone what you transform into.
Tix, praying as he sees what is going on around him, shrinking down even smaller into a bright blue hard-shelled crab, grasping at his weapons and armor that fall to the ground out of his claws.
Indeed. I will say that you are larger than an average crab, but you are still a crab.
Yep.
You turn into a crab, and Osokai, you feel the magic taking over you as well as the peals of laughter of Zuana echo through the Penta plains as you all become dumb, base animals. And that's where we'll end Chafing armor 63. Let's see what happens next time.
Oh!
Okay.
No, I don't like where this is going.
Thank you all. Well, first of all, thank you all for being so very honest with your thing and not trying to just pick one that would be as powerful as humanly possible, but instead, I think quite reasonably all match your character.
Sure, I guess.
It will be very interesting.
Very.
My lovely animal companions, thank you all for playing.
Squawk.
Boar noise.
Crabs don't
And-
make noise, do they?
Osukai wasn't very smart to begin with, so he's fine. He still looked exactly the same. It's fine.
Good point.
And we will roll with you soon.
You got the hawk.
Well, I couldn't find a crane. Come on. Had to work with it. I'll get you those. I got you those stats, and we'll talk about those stats later. But thank you for the
They might be Giants
they might be
reference.
Giants reference. Thank you.